Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, a special edition, a look back at 2021. Happy New Year. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and today is a special edition of The Voice of Alabama Politics. We take a look back each year at the year that was, 2021. When historians write the legacy of this past year, will they concentrate solely on the turmoil and trials that we faced? Or they look at the courage and the hope that the people of Alabama mustered to get through this trying time? I think it'll be a little bit of both. 2021 was a year that was tough, but I like to think about the Alabamians who sacrificed, who worked hard, and who gave their all to make this a great year, even in the trying times that we experienced. Now let's take a look back at some of those events that happened in 2021. This past week on Wednesday, we saw a despicable act occur in our nation's capital. Susan, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, incited a mob of his supporters to breach the U.S. Capitol building and to occupy it in an effort to overturn a free and fair election of the President of the United States. I have never been more ashamed, angry, and disgusted in my life. This is the type of behavior that has never been accepted in the state of Alabama or the United States of America. Mo Brooks spoke at the rally that incited this violence. He is the main instigator of this whole coup attempt. Maybe we can't call it a coup, but he wanted to disenfranchise millions of voters. He started this back in December. Mo Brooks is a disgrace to the United States of America and to Alabama. An unscientific poll on Facebook showed that, Susan, a lot of people want Mo gone.
A lot of people want Mo gone in handcuffs. A lot of people want Mo gone in handcuffs to jail, but not in Alabama. They don't even want him to come back to the state.
Josh, I'd say there's Republicans and Democrats that are on that one.
Yeah, Mo has earned every bit of the heat that he's taken. He has purposefully, for the last several years, long before this. I mean, he was crazy long before this current outrage.
We would all be remiss, and the government especially, in dismissing the fact that President Trump did secure 74 million votes, and those people have issues and concerns. Yes, elections have consequences, but I'm afraid right now the Democrats and the Republicans have a different idea of what unity means. There are a lot of opportunities and a lot of challenges that are facing our state. I know you will address many of those in the State of the State. Could you give us a brief preview of what is on your mind and in your heart and in your thoughts about moving the state forward?
Bill, last month in my health order, I included 3 provisions that are clearly the prerogative of the legislature to finalize. So those 3 bills are going to be the high priority to get introduced and passed in the first 2 weeks of this legislative session. And as soon as these 3 bills are passed and sent over to me, I will certainly sign them without hesitation.
Your colleagues, both Republican and Democrat, unanimously elected you to lead the upper chamber of the State House. What was that like for you?
Well, it's certainly a great honor and a great privilege for me. It's been a joy for me and an incredible learning experience since I was elected in 2010. But to be elected as President Pro Tem is a great honor.
Senator Richard Shelby has announced that he will not seek re-election in 2022, and I do not think that people truly understand what this man's life and legacy has meant to the state of Alabama. From the top of the state to Mobile Bay, Richard Shelby has affected the lives and the businesses in every county in Alabama, and no matter who we elect, they will not be a Richard Shelby for 20 years.
No, and just to name a few in the last little bit here, $1 billion for HQ2, which would be an FBI facility in Huntsville. He's got the U.S. Space Command to Huntsville. The Port Authority grants that he got were extraordinary to be able to widen the port and deepen it so that we can get the bigger carriers in here. That'll be advantageous to the entire state.
The state of Alabama passed a grave marker, probably not the right word to use, but over 10,000 Alabamians have now perished due to COVID-19. This is just unbelievable in the modern era that we would have so many deaths in a year.
In a year, 10,000 deaths just in Alabama. We've surpassed over 500,000 nationwide.
Yeah. Josh, they've got bills to limit Governor Kay Ivey's emergency powers. They want the governor to have to come to the legislature to declare emergencies. They want her to have to huddle with them to extend something like mask orders or to extend closures. They want to have their say. You cannot get these people to agree upon wearing masks. You can't get agree upon what constitutes liberty. How are we ever going to get them to agree on what to do in a state of emergency?
Look, they couldn't open their own damn building. I mean, really, it's not hyperbole. They couldn't figure out how to open their own building. So, I mean, look, Bobby Singleton said it better than anybody, and there's nothing else you even need to add. If it's left up to us, we'd all be dead. All right? And I mean, it's 100% true.
Tomorrow, Monday, Representative Mo Brooks will throw in his hat in the ring to become the next U.S. Senator from Alabama, replacing legendary Senator Richard Shelby. Josh, your thoughts?
So he's going to toss his MAGA hat into the arena and
he is talk. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's you know my thoughts. It's a guy asking for promotion who's done nothing in his current job. I mean, really, it's like it would be like promoting the lazy guy you work with. That does nothing but talk and try to rile people up all day long. It would be like promoting him to a better job.
Alabama individuals arrested after the sedition at the Capitol on January 3rd. There are 5. Not one of them has claimed to be Antifa. They all claim to be Trump supporters. So you have 5 people arrested that are saying we were there in the nation's capital mounting insurrection and sedition because we believed that was our job.
And that's probably exactly what they're going to get charged with is sedition.
It's amazing how when you look back at a year, you can see the good and the bad, the joys and the sorrows. You're watching The V, the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
My dog Jupiter is frightened when I climb too high. The owl said.
Check for monsters, Daddy.
I did, honey. There are no monsters. You're perfectly safe.
Protect yourself and those you love. Vaccinate now.
So you got caught speeding. But this time you got more than a ticket.
What are you in for?
Vehicular homicide.
Stop speeding before speeding stops you. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back to The V, the voice of Alabama politics. Sometimes you just have to look at politics and realize that it's the art of the possible. Many things were accomplished this year that seemed impossible, but because of strong leadership and the will to get things done, the state has moved forward. Despite those whose best efforts were to thwart progress, to deny COVID-19, to rail against anyone who said vaccines save lives, that we all should cast our share together. But that's the way I see it. Let's look back now, a little more of 2021. Governor, so nice to have you.
Well, thank you, Bill. Glad to welcome y'all back to your studio here in Montgomery.
Yes, thank you. It's been a year since we've seen you and been back in the studio, and we feel like things are getting better, and now we're back home where we wanted to be. President Joe Biden has called on state leaders to not rescind those orders or let them expire. You are determined, I understand, to let them expire, and could you share with us why you feel it's okay to do that?
Well, we've been wearing masks for a long time.
Yes, we have.
In Alabama, when other states probably have not been doing it. But our people have been faithful, and they have been diligent about wearing the mask and social distancing, and it's paying off. And at the last press conference, when we put in the mask order for one last time, I just told the people that it's time for us to start relying on personal responsibility and common sense, rather than relying on unlimited government mandates.
A jury on Tuesday found former Minnesota police officer Derek Chauvin guilty of the murder and manslaughter in the George Floyd case. Those ripples of that case are fanning out all over the nation. But here in Alabama, for at least a day or so, the Republicans remain silent. And Josh, you and I talked about this earlier, and we just didn't understand why there was nothing said about this whole case that has rocked the nation.
Yeah, I'll say that that Tommy Tuberville, surprisingly enough to me and to a lot of people, did have some very fair and some very good comments about police reform and kind of addressed it. But you're right, it was silence at the state level from a lot of people, and I think and having talked to a lot of Democratic lawmakers, those guys that some of them consider their friends, that they work up close with a lot in the legislature. It was hurtful for them not to hear anything from them because. It's obvious the emotion that was felt by so many people, and you can look at it and tell it was genuine emotion from a lot of black citizens across the country after that verdict. And
there is a problem with how policing is occurring. These police officers, they were looking at people who had bottles of water, and they shot them with rubber bullets and bean bags. Shot one guy in the face. I mean, that's not policing. That's not policing.
Yesterday was a huge day in the Alabama legislature to see medical marijuana be passed to give Alabamians who are suffering from horrible diseases, terminal cancers, horrible pains, epilepsy, multiple seizures. They have a chance now to try something if nothing else works. And it's not a lot of days in the Alabama legislature when you get to say there was a bipartisan effort that passed to do something to truly help the lives of Alabamians. Yesterday was one of those days. It was a great day for Alabama.
So last week we were in New Orleans for the wedding of Beth Clayton and Kyle Pierce. A beautiful
ceremony.
Lovely bride and handsome groom. We're happy to see him married. You were the first female president and CEO of the Business Council of Alabama. And I know a lot of people at BCA and that admire BCA. And one of the things they said is that you really helped reshape it and make it a better organization than it was. Can you tell us what lessons you learned from that and what you took to BCA
Yeah.
and what you were able to accomplish.
Well, coming from Senator Shelby's office, that gave me, as Chief of Staff, the opportunity to see the challenges and opportunities of our state, across our state, and also figuring out how you can be effective in creating change and good things for people across the state. And then, coming into the Business Council, I try to bring that mindset and try to bring the forgotten into the fold. And in that case, it's the small businesses and the rural communities across the state, going back to my Wiregrass roots.
Sure.
Also, too, I felt it was very important to, work together to move the state in a positive direction. And we did that through a multitude of things.
Nearly 65% of the state of Alabama is not vaccinated, and we're seeing a resurgence in cases, Susan, because of the Delta variant. And we have increased almost 200% in the last 2 weeks.
As of Tuesday, the number hit 554, which is a 194% increase from a month ago.
Former President Donald Trump will be holding a rally, a Save America rally, in Coleman. I know lots of Republicans, lots of folks in the state are very excited about that, Susan. One of the people that's most excited about it is Mo Brooks, who President Trump has endorsed. And Josh, you and I've seen it, and we've written about it, and Susan's seen it, talked about it. And it looks like Mo Brooks is basically co-opting the Trump event so that he can raise money for his flagging campaign, I should say, because he's not raising any money. Well, we are back here outside of beautiful downtown Attala because our freedoms are being trampled on by those who won't take vaccine shots because their freedoms are being trampled on. So we're going to be trampled here in Etowah County. For a while. All right, so all that having been said, Josh, opening Alabama schools is just mass confusion. You and Eddie Burkhalter over at APR wrote about this week. It is a mess, and there is no plan.
Yeah, it really is. I guess indicative of kind of how we've handled a lot of this pandemic, which is just kind of, hey, okay, let's go with this.
We have no good news on COVID front. The update says it is getting worse. It will get better, but right now it is bad. We have nearly 3,000 people in hospital right now. We have nearly 50 children, Josh, in hospital, and closing in, we have 12,291 dead.
We should never leave the people whose jobs are at stake and allow them to draw up their own district lines. It's just never going to work out good for us.
I know for a fact that here in Etowah County, there's a sliver of Etowah County that has St. Clair County voters in it. So you got St. Clair County voters, which is a neighboring county, deciding for senatorial races in Etowah County.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, the Attorney General's office answered Mike Hubbard's request that his sentence be reduced by another year. That would mean he would serve only 1 year in prison. But the AG, I must give them compliments. They did an amazing job. In their court filings, they showed that Mike Hubbard told people on phone calls from prison that he was not sorry for what he did. He told them that the Supreme Court were a bunch of wussies. He also said that law enforcement was not doing a great job either. And then, Susan, he came out and said that they had a plot. They had a plot to put legislation into the prison special session that would allow him to get out of jail early. A plot.
Mike Hubbard had a plot? Oh my God. That's how that man lives by.
So this week we found out that Lindy Blanchard has switched from her U.S. Senate campaign to the governor's race. Tim James has thrown his hat in the ring for the governor's seat. This will be the third time. He says the third time is the charm. So it's scrambled the governor's race. Angie, how does this play out?
Well, as far as Blanchard goes, she seems like a perfectly nice lady, but I don't know if she's Linda or Lindy, if she's running for the Senate or the governorship. This was just a failure to launch on both campaigns.
I mean, what a year. Politics never stops, even in the worst of times and the best of times. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back with another look at 2021.
You'll never guess what 400,000 people in the U.S. were using when they crashed their cars last year. No, not this. This. Distracted driving will kill you. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Every show, we do our best to present hard facts so you have the information you need to tackle the tough decisions of state. Sometimes we make you think, sometimes we make you cry, and hopefully on occasion we'll make you laugh. Well, you really almost can think that Tommy Tuberville's so dumb and Barry Moore's so dumb, they just followed what they were told doing.
Did.
But I don't
Well, tell
think
them that
Palmer...
they're supposed to resign and they won't know any better.
I'll have to look it up.
It's a viewer out of Jefferson County, and it says, Tubby and Mo must go. Here is Steve Marshall's official picture on his Attorney General website. Is that a glamour shot? Or is that what those teenage girls use, Josh?
Well, it's definitely been run through a filter, or five.
Well, the only reason I like for lobbyists to meet with some of the lawmakers is because some of our lawmakers are so clueless that they need lobbyists to tell them what's really going on. Yeah.
That's all right, go ahead. I'm getting waves and winks from a lot of sources where I am.
I'm your host, Bill Britt, and today I'm joined by Susan Britt. Hey.
Hi.
How are you? Yeah. All right. And Josh Moon, investigative reporter and columnist for APR. I knew that would get y'all.
Hey, guys.
Well, at least you remembered everybody's name today, right?
Yeah. Good week for him. Good week for him.
That's cold.
Yeah,
That's just cold. It's cold. I didn't forget your name. I just couldn't remember who you were.
COVID days, baby. COVID days.
I'm not good at the shameless self-promotion. I'm sorry.
Well, as my mother used to say, if you don't toot your own horn, your horn probably won't get tooted very often. So there you go. All right. I made the mistake of picking up one of Susan's coffee cups this morning. It says, yet despite the look on my face, you're still talking. This is where I live.
Thank you, Vinny.
That'll be Easter Sunday. I think we're going to have a very special guest as well, but we'll see.
Ooh, nice. The Easter Bunny? Is it going to be the Easter Bunny?
The Easter Bunny, yeah, baby. That's it. And, because I'm still trying to figure out why we have Easter bunnies. But I don't know.
It's in the Bible.
Don't know.
But no, it's
the legislature forgetting about women, Josh.
Again?
Who'd have thought?
What?
right. But yeah,
What? All those old gray-haired dudes forgot about women again?
yeah, I'd like for all those gray-haired dudes just to have one menstrual cycle. That would just bless my heart.
There's hypocrisy in the State House.
What? Get out of here. That's those guys. They're not hypocrites.
I actually had a college student who I was trying to help teach at one point, or tutor, ask me why legislative bills had numbers. I swear to you, I was just dumbstruck.
If they actually allow critical thinking in schools, then the legislature's in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they have numbers because they didn't have enough pictures that they can put on there. I'm a gun owner, but I also like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I think death kind of ends all that.
Sure. We're in a very difficult time. I'll say I know you'll be glad when you don't feel the need to invite me back to your show anymore.
What are the current plans to reduce recidivism, which is a hard word for me to say?
It's a hard word. It's a hard word. It's taking me years to get recidivism down.
Josh, as they used to say in the Wild West, it was a hot time in the old town this week. The legislature came in and they've started trying to figure out how to redistrict and make everybody mad, or redistrict and make only some people happy. Josh Moon, columnist and investigative reporter at APR, and Angie Horn, Republican strategist and all-around great person.
Yes.
Yeah. How's everybody?
I would like to revisit my intro, please.
Yeah, don't we all? Josh Moon, investigative reporter with APR, and columnist, and all-around gentleman at large.
Careful there. Careful.
I asked for a better intro last week. You get a better intro. I like it.
There you go. There you go. There you go. You know, ask and you shall receive.
That's right.
Or as my mother said, ask and you may get booed, screwed, and tattooed. Are flatulent cows really a political issue now, Susan?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yeah, this is nonsense. I mean, that's nonsense. I mean, it's so out of this world insane. It's just so dumb. I mean, it's really pretty stupid.
I don't know what's going on. The stupidity of this is off the charts.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
What the hell are you doing? You know, honest to God, what are you doing, man?
That's how things are supposed to work.
Well, that concludes our look back at 2021. As we leave today, we'll look at those individuals who we lost. But before we do that, on behalf of the Voice of Alabama Politics, let me thank our many sponsors, our supporters, and most of all, you, our viewers. And on behalf of the V, I wish you a very, very happy new year and many blessings to come. You've been watching the V, the Voice of Alabama Politics. You watch us because we watch them.